about the pure bending. First of all, what is meant by pure bending? If a specific length of a beam is subjected to a constant bending moment and the shear force is zero, then the stresses set up in that length of the beam are known as bending stresses. And the length of the beam under constant bending moment is said to be a pure bending. That means, for example, it is a double overhanging beam. The load W is acting at the ends of the load W is act at the ends of the beam and at point C and point D, and AB is a simply supported beam. So let us support A and support B and support D and C are overhanging. So double both sides we have forming overhanging means that we said to be that beam is said to be double overhanging. So here, for example, here the load W is acting at the point C and the load acting at the point D. So the load, according to equilibrium condition, sigma h is equal to 0, sigma v is equal to 0, and sigma m is equal to 0. According to that condition, sigma v is equal to, that means Ra plus Rb, that is equal to total load W plus W. So, and acting in a similar points. So Ra and Rb are equal. So Ra is equal to W and Rb is equal to W. And let us, you are drawing the shear force diagram. Here, the load acting downward direction. From the point C, W is acting downward direction. And from the point C to A, the load is constant. So your shear force beam diagram also is constant. And at the A, again, the load W is acting upward direction. So again, you have to move to the upward direction. And from the A to B, there is no load. So we are passing the same line. And again, similarly, from the B to D is also like that, where in that point B, the load is acting upward direction, so we moved upward direction, and the point D again downward direction. Again, you return back to the downward direction. So this is overall the shear force diagram of the particular beam. And from the point A to point B, the shear force is constant, and the shear force value is zero. And come to the bending moment diagram. Here at the point C, the perpendicular distance is 0, so W into 0. And from the point A, the distance is A and the load is W, so W into A. Here the bending moment is W into A. And in the same way, here also the load W into 0 and the point B W. So and then in between the A and B there is no load, therefore the bending moment is constant. So for considering the bending moment diagram from the point A to point B, it is a constant bending moment forming a value. Therefore the plane, the length of the beam A and B is said to be a pure bending because where the point A to B having shear force value 0 and the bending moment value is constant. That bending moment value is W into A. Therefore, in according to the definition, if a specific length of a beam is subjected to a constant bending moment, from the point A to point B, we are forming the constant bending moment. We are forming the constant bending moment, and that point A to B, the shear force value is zero. So in the overall the beam, the point A to B, that means that length of A to B is said to be a pure bending. And the next is stresses in beam and the bending and shear. The internal bending moment causes the beam and to deform. The internal bending moment causes beam to the deform. In the top fiber of compression and the bottom is tension. For example, you're adding the forces at the corner at the side of the or cross section of the beam. We are acting the towards to the beam, then the beam will form. It is the initial position of the beam before the deformation, and this diagram represents the after deformation of the beam. So the bottom place of the beam is expanding and the top of the beam is decreasing. So the top layer of the beam is said to be compression, and the bottom layer of the beam is said to be the tension, and the neutral axis layer is no changes between them, then the neutral axis will be constant. So according to this diagram, when we do the forces before the deformation, this is the initial position of the beam, and this is the after applying the load, the final position of the beam. So when you are applying the pulling load, the beam changes to like this. In this, we observed that the top layer of the beam is decreases. So the top layer of the beam is said to be compression, and the bottom layer of the beam is increasing. So the bottom layer of the beam is said to be the tension. In between the neutral axis layer, there is no change. And the stresses in beam bending and shear. So in first of all you have discussed about the load. Now similarly in the way we discussed about the movement. So in this movement it will rotate like that, and here also the neutral axis layer will be same, and the axis of symmetry will be considered forming. Next, the assumptions of the bending and shear. So assumptions of the pure bending theory was the material of the beam is homogeneous and isotopic. That means same composition and constant E value in all the direction. So and that means we are taking the material, so the material we are taking the same material, and the E value in all the directions it should be equal. Young modulus of is constant in the compression and the tension. So in the to both ways, the compression zone and the tensile zone, the Young modulus E value is also a constant. The transverse section which are plane before the bending remains the plane after the bending. So the transverse section is before the bending and after the bending will remains constant. Beam is initially straight, and all the longitudinal filaments the bend it into circular arc. Beam initially the beam is in a straight, and after that you applying the forces, the beam is changes to all longitudinal filaments and bend into a circular arc. The radius of the curvature is large when compared to the dimensions of the cross section of the beam. The radius of the curvature after the bending is large when compared to the dimensions of the cross section before the bending. Each layer of the beam is free to expand or constant. Next, this is the bending equation derivation between the bending stress and the radius of the curvature. It is the position of the beam before the bending or before the deformation. This is the we are consider we are observe that points A, B, and CD is a beam dimensions, and the layer NM is said to be the neutral axis layer. Let us considering the point E and F, it is wide distance from the neutral axis layer. We are considering that point. After applying that forces, the beam will bend like this, and the neutral axis layer will cannot changes, and the point B dash is point A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash. The points are after the deformation or after the bending forces applied, and the distance is also same, and the point horizon point from the board to neutral axis layer we are considering the radius of the curvature or an angle theta. So now the neutral axis layer is also constant, and the distance between the AB is also constant, but AC is decreases, and BD where the length is increases. Through the action of the bending, the length delta x will be deformed as shown in the figure B. The delta x is here. The next, due to decreasing the length in the layers of above neutral axis, the layer will subjected to the compressive stress. That means here from the above the neutral axis layer, the point A and C will decreases the length. So that point A and C top layer is said to be the compressive zone, and the bottom layer B to D is said to be the tensile zone. The amount by which the layer increases or decreases in length it depends upon the position of the layer with respect to the neutral axis. And the theory of the bending is known as the theory of the simple bending. This theory is known as the theory of the simple bending. Next, let R be the radius of the curvature of the neutral axis layer n dash, and angle be the theta be the angle subjected to the both endpoints, and y distance from the neutral axis layer. The y is the distance from the neutral axis layer. This then represented as EF. From the neutral axis layer, n dash is equal to r into theta. It is the n dash is the length of the arc. So the length of the arc is equal to radius of the curvature into that angle. So n dash is equal to r into theta. And the original length of the layer EF is equal to n and neutral axis layer, and after bending also neutral axis layer we cannot change, so that's why n dash. So n is equal to n dash. Before the neutral before the bending n, and after the bending n dash, the neutral axis layer will cannot changes. Therefore the value of n and the n dash is equal. Change in increasing the length of EF to EF dash, that is equal to, where for example we are considering EF dash. So change in decreasing length. The decreasing length, the changing length is y into theta. The changing length is y into theta. The strain in the layer EF is equal to increasing length by original length. The strain is y by r. According to the linear elastic, according to the linear elastic, sigma is directly proportional to strain. That is, strain is equal to sigma by Young modulus. So y by r is equal to sigma by E. That means y by r is here the strain value, and you know that the strain value is equal to stress by Young modulus value. From that equation, we find concluded that sigma stress is equal to bending stress is equal to E by r into y. From this equation, sigma is directly proportional to y. Later on, the next derivation was the derivation of the relation between the bending stress and the radius of curvature and the moment of resistance of a section. The stresses induced in the layer of the beam create the compression, shear, and tensile forces. Thus, the force will have the moment about neutral axis layer, and the distance of this from the strip is y, and the strip dimensions are we are taking as the width b and the depth is dy. The total moment of these forces about the neutral axis layer for the section is known as moment of resistance of the section. Consider a cross section of the beam as shown in the figure. From that equation, the force on the layer E by R into Y into dA. That means stress into area. So I already know that the stress is equal to E by R into Y into area dA. The moment of this force for neutral axis layer is force on the layer into Y. The where force on the layer is E by R into Y into dA, and the perpendicular distance Y. From that, simplifying that equation, and we concluded that E by R into Y square into dA. This is the moment of this force per only that the strict value. But we have to conclude that or find out the total moment area of the forces. So that means we have to conclude that integration of this equation, then we will get the total moment of the resistance. So E by R into Y I value. From this equation, we concluded that m is equal to E by R into Y. Because by simplification, m by I is equal to, by simplification, m by I is equal to E by R. This is the equation 2, and already you find out the equation 1 and later before, that is 1 minute. That equation is sigma is equal to E by R into Y, or E by Y by R is equal to sigma by E. We concluded that equation 1 and equation 2 simplified, and finally you concluded that value m by I is equal to sigma by Y is equal to E by R. because here E by R is equal to M by I, and where in the equation 1 E by R is equal to sigma by Y. From the equation 1 and equation 2, we concluded that the bending equation M by I is equal to sigma by Y is equal to E by R, where M is equal to the total moment of the resistance, and I is the moment of inertia, and sigma is the bending stress, and y is the different distance between the strip to the and the neutral axis layer and the bottom layer or top layer. We are considering the y value at the strip bottom layer, and E is the Young modulus value, and R is the radius of the curvature. And then the finally we concluded that the bending equation is equal to is M by I is equal to sigma by Y is equal to E by R. Thank you, students.